I want to talk about not just displaying our strengths, but also revealing our shortcomings, and how important that is for building trust and respect and connection with the people we interact with. I want to talk about assertive speech, power talk, and why, in fact, it might be better in some situations to talk tentatively, with a little bit of uncertainty. I also want to talk about this habit that we all have here in Western society to give answers when people ask us questions, and why it might be advantageous, in fact, to ask more questions and give fewer answers. The place I want to start is revealing your shortcomings and why this is a good idea. Years ago, the psychologist Elliot Aronson did an amazing experiment. He audio taped people doing a quiz bowl tournament, and you got to hear them giving lots of answers. Some of the people were experts, some of them were novices. The experts got most of the questions right. The novices basically fumbled along the way and didn't know most of the answers. And at the very end of the tape, half of the time, you got to hear all of a sudden a big crash on the floor, and the candidate says, "Oh my gosh, I just spilled coffee all over myself," and basically sounds really flustered. And Aronson had this crazy idea, which was maybe spilling coffee on yourself would make you more likable. And that's exactly what he found. But only for the experts. The experts who had just gone and answered a bunch of questions effectively and correctly, when they spilled coffee on themselves, people liked them more, because it seemed to humanize them. You're like, "Oh, wow, that's a real person. I can relate to that person." And you started to empathize, and you warmed up a little bit. If you spill coffee on yourself as a novice, it just shows that you're even more incompetent. Not just you know nothing, but also you can't even hold a cup of coffee straight. But once you've established competence, it seems, Aronson and his colleagues call this the pratfall effect, that a small mistake in a domain that was totally unrelated to competence actually led people to warm up to the otherwise competent person. And I think that's a great case for revealing our shortcomings, for actually acknowledging our weaknesses and our mistakes, not only our strengths. Now, years ago, someone that you've all heard of did this, I think, masterfully. His name was Abraham Lincoln. And Lincoln was in a debate with one of his opponents. And his opponent decided that he was going to make sure that nobody in the audience believed a word he said. And he said, "Lincoln, you are two-faced." And Lincoln, without even skipping a beat, said, "Two-faced? Do you really think if I had another face, I would wear this one?" And I thought that was such a smart example of revealing a shortcoming. Right? He wasn't actually calling into question his competence as a leader or a politician, but he was making fun of something, his appearance, that could allow you to see him as a human being, to connect and identify with him. And it seemed to really build a lot of trust with that audience. So that's one form of powerless communication.